BWOne here from BWOne, and in this video I'm going to give you my review of the Sony Xperia Z3v. I think this is a pretty interesting device that someone that's looking for an alternative than a typical HTC, Samsung, or iPhone device that they may want to have something a little bit different, something that may stand out a little bit. I think the Z3v might be there for them. Let's go ahead and check this out. Alright, so this is the Sony Xperia Z3v. This is pretty much the first Sony phone that's exclusive to the Verizon network since the Xperia Play back a few years ago. I remember we reviewed that quite a while ago. 3 years is pretty ancient times in the cell phone market and technology in general here. It's pretty nice to see Sony back here in the market. So the first thing you're going to notice here with this as we jump into the review here is that it has a pretty nice and vibrant 5.2 inch HD display. It's pretty nice. It's pretty sharp. You're gonna see nice vivid colors. It's a pretty pleasant experience to kind of look at the display overall. Now, coupled with that is some pretty powerful hardware as well too. You have front-facing camera there at the top. You have some front-firing speakers here at the bottom as well, right below the Sony logo. I would have liked to see them kind of shave these bezels down a little bit to kind of emphasize the display just a little bit more, because I think it's a lot on here for a 5.2 inch display, and that's saying something these days when 5.2 inches is on the smaller side when it comes to displays, especially with a lot of the big screen phones that we have out now. All right, let's take a look at the sides here. On the side, you have your SIM card. Goes in there. All right. Right above the SIM card, you have your micro USB port, and you can take these both off at the same time if you want to. And you have your SIM card, and like I said, your micro USB slot right here for charging and syncing. These just kind of snap back on, press them on like that. On this side, you have your micro SD card slot, rather. A lot of micro here, but you can add additional storage here to it. It comes with 16 gigabytes native inside the phone. On this side as well too, you have your power button that's sort of in the middle here, a little bit lower. That's probably going to be a lot easier for people with smaller hands, normal size hands, unlike my big gigantic hands. You have your volume rocker here, and you have a dedicated 2-stage camera button, which is always a welcome addition and not something commonly seen on Android. I always like having that there versus using the software sort of on-screen button here. So I like having that there. Thanks, Sony. All right, here on the back you have a 20.7 megapixel camera with a single LED flash, and does 4K video recording as well too. Here in the back you sort of have a nice sort of glass plastic sort of finish here on the back, and you have the same sort of finish here on the front as well too. And it's a nice sealed off device. There really isn't any holes anywhere else. Nothing here on the bottom. 3.5 millimeter headphone jack here at the top. Now the reason for it kind of having these flaps and being sealed off is because it is a waterproof and dustproof rated phone. So you're gonna be able to put this in water. I believe it's up to 1 meter or so. I still wouldn't recommend dumping your phone in the water, but it's gonna stay okay if something happens to it. If you get some raindrops, something on it, gets a little bit wet, you can still be able to go as long as you have your, the flaps and stuff sort of locked in there. So you don't have to do too many worries about that. It is a little bit heavier of a device than you would expect when you kind of pick it up here, but it does feel pretty good in the hand. But like I said before, you're gonna look at it and you're gonna wish that the bezels were just a little bit thinner to kind of emphasize the screen a little bit more, make the phone a little bit smaller. I think Sony would have had a really nicer look with that, so to speak. But it's still a nice looking phone overall, and most people will probably be pretty satisfied with it. Let's go ahead and power this on here, do a little swipe, and there we are. We're right here into the software now. Sony puts what they call Xperia UI on top of their version of Android, which is Android 4.4.4. It's a pretty typical interface that you normally see on here. You have your different home screens you can choose from. You can hit the little menu, the app drawer button to kind of pop that up. You can see different little apps that you have within here as well. And you can swipe to the side here, and you have a different way to sort of organize them around here. Easy ways to uninstall. You can be able to go to Sony's Android store or the Play Store to get additional applications as well too. Right at the top gives you the notification shade. You have your notifications on this side. Tap there, you get your quick settings, and you can actually edit those to add more if you want to on here, from flashlight, screen mirroring, mobile data and such, and organize them any way you want to. Go ahead and swipe up, and back here we'll actually jump into the settings to show you that real quickly. Typical settings menu, only would see here. You have a search for settings if you need to on here as well. All right, let's bring that back here. And the phone is running pretty smooth, and it runs pretty smooth overall. It's powered by a quad-core processor inside of it. Comes with 2 gigabytes of RAM as well too, so it's pretty nice in terms of keeping everything running nice and smooth on here. Have really no complaints there with that. Now, some of the additional applications that we added on here that I think are pretty interesting. One of them being Sony's Walkman feature, which I think they pretty much have the best sort of music player on a device. It's a very nice, stylized looking music player here, and it's always fun to use this. You can't use music unlimited. You got unlimited music here. I'll play a little bit of a song here so you get an idea how the front firing speakers sound. They're not on HTC One's level, but they are pretty decent. And somebody always puts this song on here, and I always like this song. Kind of skipping around there, but it's pretty cool, and it has a nice unique UI to it. If we were going to listen to several songs inside of it, let's actually pause out here. If we were to go into listening through our library and such, if I can jump into the library here, you can jump into here, you can see different songs, you can shuffle off on one or two, and you can actually bring it back here. One, let me do this the right way, bring it back one. If I wanted to play all my songs, I can kind of play them all. You can throw them if you want to throw them to a supported DLNA or wireless device that supports audio streaming, video streaming, stuff like that. You can throw it to a Sonos if you want to. So overall, that's pretty cool there. It's a nice little MP3 player, and I'm glad that sort of Sony keeps that Walkman on there. I think it's pretty cool. One of the nice looking ones. You have your movies that you can get. You have your album. Your album's pretty much where all your photos and stuff are gonna kind of be here. You have a lead photo there at the top, and it can make some movies for you as well to sort of automate the process that you can see there right at the top. And the following video has been approved for appropriate audiences, and it's sort of making a little video of my day when I was kind of going around taking pictures and such like that. I'll actually go ahead and take a look at some of these pictures here. And this is a 20.7 megapixel camera. Now, the one thing I always say here, it's pretty cool. The camera quality is pretty decent. Some of these zoomed in shots here, but let's actually head back to the pumpkin one here. You can zoom in. It's got some nice detail, some nice coloring with it as well too. I will say that it's kind of dull sometimes when you kind of look at some of the photos on here, but it's overall going to be pretty decent. You're going to kind of wish it was a little bit better than what it was, but it is pretty nice. Go ahead and open up the camera application here, and we can take a look inside and kind of see what you have. Now, by default, it sets up this intelligent auto feature, which when you click on that, it automatically goes into sort of superior auto, which kind of gives you the options and sort of pre-selects everything for you to get you the best photo. But if you want to get the 20.7 megapixel photo, you're going to want to go into manual mode to have all the different controls on here and to be able to kind of go into the settings here, and you get the white balancing up right over here, and you can change the resolution if you have 20.7, 15, 8 and such available to you here, and you kind of go manual, but you can easily switch between all the different plethora modes. They have an AR mode, which is pretty interesting. So as you bring that one up, we can add little different effects. So if I wanted to throw a bomb, I can just flick one. Hopefully if it works. It might not work, it might not be enough lighting right here to do it, but you have multicam, you have 4K video, which we did record some 4K video. We'll upload that separate here. The 4K video is pretty decent. I think for most cases it'll be pretty nice. A lot of people will like it. So definitely check out that video we uploaded separately on the channel. You have InfoEye and a plethora of other ones. You can sort of add different applications as well too. So tons of apps to add on here to enhance the camera experience. And overall, I do like the camera on the Xperia Play, but I'm Xperia Z3v, sorry there, having a bit of a flashback. But I would like it to be a little bit better than kind of what it was. I want a little bit more out of it, if you can kind of understand what I'm saying there. All right, so that's the camera. We took a look at sort of the many apps on here. We've kind of looked at sort of your interface and such here. It's pretty simple device kind of in the end of the day. It's full of, you know, if you want to use a lot of Sony services, you can. Do want to mention it is PlayStation Remote Play compatible. So if you want to use Remote Play on here and you have a PS4, you can use that on here. This is one of the only phones that's available right now that can do that. And they do have sort of a controller sort of accessory, so you can get a PS4 controller and play your games on here at the same time as well too. So that is available. I'll actually hop in here, and one other thing I wanted to show you here is it's your multitasking, and you can kind of swipe left and right to kind of get rid of different things, as I'm doing right here, and kind of bounce around. But what you can also do is have little mini apps here that'll load up. So if I want to kind of bring up the calculator, I can hit that and the mini calculator comes up. If I want to take a screen capture, I can capture the screen like that, and it'll capture the screen for me quickly and just have a quick access button to it. So that's pretty nice. And they have some additional ones as well too. You have touch block, browser, timer. There's an active clip as well too. That's what I have set there. You can, what that active clip actually does, you can actually record the screen instead of taking a screen capture if you want to do that. You have calendar and such, but you kind of get the idea. Sony's already had these little mini apps and such, and with an Android, and they've included it in here, and it's kind of a welcomed addition. It kind of makes it a little bit different and a little bit more fun to use your phone. let's actually jump into checking out some video here. We're going to take a look at some of BWOne video to kind of get you an idea what the screen looks like, especially when probably most of the time you're going to be looking at streaming video, YouTube video and stuff when you're kind of on the go. So let's bring that up here.
Very much just a fitness band, and has some cool fitness apps with it that you can use. But you do get the little extra notification to tell you what you need to do your next workout.
Jump that up over here a little bit.
That's pretty much it now. There's connected apps. You can connect different apps as well to it. You can actually import your.
You can hear the audio. Like I said, it's pretty decent on here. It's not HTC One worthy, but it's still pretty good overall. And it's going to be nice to listen to. And it's still going to be nice to listen to when you're watching a video or watching a movie and such. So that's nice that that's on there. All right. Now for battery life, it is pretty solid. It's going to get you throughout the day. You know, don't expect to use it for a whole weekend use without having to charge. You can get I got about 12 hours to 14 hours on it. So a normal work day, you're going to be able to get through on here. It has a 3200 milliamp hour battery built into it. It's non-removable. So I want to make sure of that. It is NFC compatible as well too. I know I hit the soft card thing by accident, but it is NFC compatible. And they have an NFC logo on the back here. It also has wireless charging built into it as well too. So that's the Sony Xperia Z3v. It's sort of your typical Android package packed in here with sort of some of Sony's flavoring on it. I think it's more related to the Xperia Z2 more so than the new Z3 that got announced. But overall, it's going to be pretty cool for somebody that's looking for a different style device. It's looking for something that isn't on the Samsung, HTC, or LG level with an Android, and they just want something a little bit different. And Sony's going to be able to provide that for them. Would I personally pick this phone over those three? Probably not. I would kind of wait for the next version of this, which will probably take more into a little bit newer, more similar to the Sony Xperia Z3 that just got announced versus more like the Z2, which this is more similar to, even though the name is Z3v. All right, so this is Bowman here from BWOne.com, and this is my review of the Sony Xperia Z3v. If you liked this video, be sure to share it around, give it a thumbs up. It definitely helps us out. Also, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter, become a fan of our Facebook fan page. Also, check us out at our main website at BWOne.com. And as always, live your tech world in high definition. Thanks for watching.